is another contest entering. This one's not vinyl related. This one's comic book related. And this means a lot to me because I've mentioned it before, but I may be beating a dead horse, but I'm originally from Michigan, but due to work and employment, I had to move from Michigan to Iowa, from Iowa to Missouri, and then Missouri here finally to Maine. And this is where I'm at. I bought this house. It is mine. I'm not going anywhere. If I lose this job, I'll find something else here, or I'll just die here. But because of that constant moving, I could never have my collections. I had collected when I was in Michigan as a teenager comic books a lot. That was my thing. I collected cassettes, CDs, and comics. But then when I moved, so went all my comics. I had to get rid of them, sell them, and that really made me upset. Now that I'm stable again and I can be somewhere, because now I'm really going to want to get back into collecting my comics again, especially the ones that matter the most to me. So Andy, thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity because he's going to give away some comics for this contest. He's unloading some stuff. I've seen his big box of crap. There's no crap in any of those. So he showed what he's going to be giving away in this contest, and there are some things in there I really, really like, and they're things I used to collect. And I will say that if you guys don't know Andy's Vinyl Den, go now. Subscribe. He's got 1,000 subscribers, so I'm sure out of my 90-something, we're all there already. But if not, you better do it. Andy is smart. He's darn good looking. Super talented. I mean, between art and crafts and guitars, and the dude is super nice, super sweet. I'm going to tell you, not a greater person on the planet. Well, I could probably, think hard, but seriously, I think he's a hell of a guy. So, take a check out Andy's Vinyl Den, and we're going to get to the contest. The first thing in the contest, and I'll preface this, there's a theme with this, because when I was collecting comics, I was laser focused on one. And I'm sure you guys know how that is, like, this is the thing I do. Yeah, I'll collect and buy other things too as they come around, but this is where my focus is, kind of like, Vinylizer has with, like Whitesnake. Anyway, so here's the first question. Name your favorite male and female superheroes. Second question. Your favorite villains, male and female. Favorite ongoing series, or at the time was ongoing series. 4, favorite comic book artist. And then 5, favorite comic book writer. I'm going to flip these upside down because I'm going to go from the bottom up, and then that will explain how the other ones pan out. I myself was and still am a huge fan of Eric Larson and all the things from Highbrow Studios. So, this is Eric Larson. And all of the things he created. If you're not familiar with him, which you should be if you're into comics, he not only drew for DC and drew for Marvel, but when that whole thing happened back in the day and Image came out, he was one of the first launch titles with Savage Dragon. And, of course, McFarlane had Spawn. And out of all those titles that came out, Spawn and Dragon, we're the only two that kept going for so long. They were so popular. And I was one of those people that bought all of them. He would be the favorite writer, and he'd be the favorite artist. Because when it comes to Dragon, and correct me if I'm wrong, other than McFarlane and Spawn, I think that he's one of the only ones that really does the writing and the drawing and even the inking a lot of times all by himself in a lot of his issues. I mean, he's almost like a one-man wrecking crew back in the day. And so he fills in all those categories. So that's number 5 and number 4 taken care of. With that in mind, favorite ongoing series actually wasn't Dragon. I like Savage Dragon. I got them all. Don't get me wrong. Awesome stuff. But the spin-off of that series was my favorite. And it didn't last as long as I wanted it to. The original run was only 18 issues. But it was this. Freak Force. Yes. See, in Savage Dragon, he was an amnesiac. He woke up in a field and didn't have his memories, didn't know what about his powers. Eventually, he got some abilities. He's green, has a fin, joins the Chicago Police Force. Well, the Chicago Police Force thinks it's such a good idea having this mutant guy be a cop. Let's get a whole team of mutant guys. And then the Freak Force was put together with that. And the reason I liked it is it didn't take itself seriously. It was very much like, let's just have this dragon. Let's continue it on with a team of them. But let's just be goofy and stupid with the stories, the plot lines. Let's just make it kind of ridiculous. Kind of almost make it a humor title. But not enough to where it's like, oh, look, it's Gru. No. They were very subtle about it. But it was kind of stupid. in my perfect realm of stupid, I waited for every issue to come out. And so my favorite ongoing series, they did go for 18 issues, and then they had some mini-series and limited series after that would definitely be Freak Force. Favorite male and female, of course, I'm going to say with male, Savage Dragon. Behind that, if I go with Freak Force, my favorite character was Super Patriot. Half human, half cyborg android, meets Captain America, has a bad attitude. Yeah, that was cool. And then, favorite female character was the pseudo de facto leader of Freak Force, Dart. She had that troubled upbringing. She watched her dad beat the crap out of her mom, and had abilities come up, and she can throw the little darts, pinpoint. She has them all up on her leg like this. And then, you can throw them all, and, well, she was your stereotypical, I'm barely wearing anything, and look at my big bazoobs. Yeah. At that time and that age, I really appreciated seeing any panel that had a lot of Dart in it. I did. I'm not going to lie. And so, going along with the same theme, favorite villain. Mr. Mighty, also known as Mighty Man, from Freak Force. He was the stereotypical stand-in for like a Superman kind of character where he could fly, had super strength, very standard superhero, I have a superhero. Well, there he was the superhero of the bunch. And his old nemesis was Dr. Nirvana. I liked him as a villain because his whole thing was he didn't have any superpowers, and that ticked him off. And he was very much that supervillain. It's like his whole goal was to kind of use, I hate to use the term Nazi, techniques of going into creating and trying to give himself superpowers and give other people superpowers, and that was his whole thing, and it never worked out the way he wanted. There's always that, thing where it always went the wrong way or whatever. But he was a big villain for my man, and I just appreciate the fact that he was ticked at the people that had powers, and he wanted powers too, and it was all about jealousy. And then the female comes directly from him also. His daughter, Chelsea Nirvana, was a villain of the Freak Force for a while, and the reason I like her is, first, Dr. Nirvana did not want a daughter. He wanted a male to carry on his lineage, and so treated her like crap, completely ignored her, which turned her into a bad guy herself. And she also wanted to have superpowers. But one of the storylines I really loved of hers was, I'll show you. Here's Chelsea Nirvana. And you're like, hey, good-looking girl. She was not a good-looking girl. She was given, and I'm not going to go into the details, powers from another person, and she gained good looks. And I had to go look it up. It's been like 20 years. Johnny Redbeard. So she got powers from Johnny Redbeard, became really good looking. One of the issues, remember how I said the stories are silly? Unlike Rogue from X-Men, where she gains the person's ability and then slowly it goes away, she gained the ability and actually started turning slowly into Johnny Redbeard. Take a look at this. So yeah, that was funny. Having a hot chick turn into a guy, and she started turning into him. Funny stuff. So those are my entries for favorite male, female, villains and heroes, favorite series, favorite artist, favorite writer. Hope this qualifies for you, but I wanted to share my love for all of highbrow comics and Eric Larson, and when I get back into comics, that is the first thing I'm going to be going to, is all the old Spider-Mans and whatnot that Larson drew, all the old DCs. And that's going to be the bone of my collection, is going to be all of Eric Larson stuff. For some reason, his artwork and his writing just hits me perfectly. I read other comics, and they're like, yeah, that'd be better if it was this, or I like this drawing, but maybe it shouldn't have so many pockets on it, or Layfield. But with Larson, no, everything hits me just right. So, good luck to everybody out there. I'm going to go, and this rambling on fest is done. Take care.